This conference will now be recorded.
Let me share my screen. So team, can someone confirm if you can see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So like before we start today's session, so let me go ahead and introduce myself. So this is Akhil. Like I have 7+ years of industry experience. So I'm working as a senior automation engineer in one of the corporate companies. So I have like 4+ years of like experience in teaching. So with respect to this session, so today we'll talk about so yeah. So as part of today's session, so we'll talk about like what are the different teams that involved. So once you get in a company, so before I directly go ahead and work on this, let me go ahead and try to show you one application. So consider this is one of the web applications you have, uh, the one which you are seeing on the screen. So in the domain name, if you see, we have like arden.ac.uk. So where Arden is basically the university name, whereas AC stands for here, it denotes that it is an academic site, whereas UK is nothing but the country name, United Kingdom. So that means Arden is basically an academic site which operates its functions in United Kingdom. So that is the bottom line of this domain name, right? So now, if you consider this application is in live now. So the moment I say it has a live, so that means it is in the production environment. So there are different environments if you consider in IT. So the the last and the important one is the production environment. So production environment is it is live for the user. So if you consider any mobile app, whatever the applications those are available in Play Store, right? So those are the final, that is the final product, right? So that is available to the user, whereas user can directly download it and they can use it. Okay. So so now this application, right now we are saying it is already available to the user. So let me show you one flow. So in this particular site, if as a user, if we want to make an inquiry of the particular course, okay, if we want to try to get some details with respect to one course, like related to fee, the duration of the course, on which particular day the course would be taught, right? So these details, let's say if we want to get those details, so I will show you one flow. Okay. So the flow is like I would be clicking on find a course here. Then I'm searching for one of the courses. Let's say I want to pursue business and management course, right? Business and management course in this university. Okay. So the moment I search with business and management courses, so it will give me, it gave me like a list of all the courses that comes under business and management, um, this part, okay, which comes under business and management courses. So if you see in the bottom, in total, it is showing us like 54 courses, right? If you click on load more, it will show us more courses. And if you click on like load more, it will show, it will keep on going. So now here, the whatever, like if you see, if you're saying here, BA Honors Business Management and BA Honors Business Management with foundation here and MBA. So these courses, let's say I want to pursue, these all courses comes under the one category, which is business and management. Okay. So from this, I want to pursue like MBA. So I'm just clicking on view course. Okay. From here, I have like two options. So this is the study level, like postgraduate course with 1 year full time. So here I have like two options, apply today and speak to an advisor. So here they are differentiating based on if you want to directly, if you want to directly go ahead and apply for a course, right? Apply for a course, you can select this option. But I don't want to apply for a course directly. I want to first speak to an advisor. Okay. The moment I say speak to an advisor, it means we want to make an inquiry of this particular course. Like things like cost of the course, duration of the course, on which particular day this course would be taught. So kind of these things. Okay. So now let me click on speak to an advisor. So for this, what the moment I click on speak to an advisor, a particular form has got opened, right? So if you see here, we have a first name, last name, email, country, location of interest. So these are the like basic details of the user. So for example, as a student, I want to speak to an advisor in order to know about this MBA course. So for this, I need to fill in my bio, right? So if you see here, some fields there are some fields with asterisk symbols, right? Asterisk symbol. So what does this denotes, guys? Asterisk symbol. So that means
That these are required fields and
these
have
are
to
the
be.
mandatory fields. Yes, these are the required and mandatory fields we need to fill in, right? So what we'll generally do, we'll fill in here and we click on call me. So after some time, since we are providing the contact information here, right? We are providing contact information. So the moment I click on call me, so after some time, I will get one call from the university side people, right? So basically, one of the advisor who works for this university, so he'll call us, so we can get the required details like fee, as we discussed, right? Fee, duration of this course, and what are the like things they offer after once we pursue this course. Like, is there any placement related suggestions, like placement related help from the university side? So these kind of questions, whatever the open questions we have, we can check with the advisor. So that is the bottom line of this flow. Okay. So now this application is in live, right? So before it comes to live, what exactly happens is, what exactly happens is, so here, if we consider Arden, right? So Arden is basically a university, correct? Basically university, right? So before this particular application, web application got into production, let's say initially the Arden University doesn't even have a web page, okay, or web portal. Initially, if we consider, however, they'll start with nothing, right? So everything has to be developed or designed and tested right from the scratch. So initially, let's say they do not have any portal with respect to their uh, university. So what now, like university side people, they want to they want to start the web portal, right? They want to start the web portal. So they will have some ideas, right? So what happens in general means, so this university side people, right? So if you consider any service-based company, let's say TCS or Infosys or Wipro or whatever the service-based company, here, for example, I am considering TCS, okay? So TCS is basically university or a software company.
That's a software
It
company.
is it is basically software company. So what happens is this university people will come, right? And they make an MOU. They make an MOU with TCS, right? They make an MOU. The moment I say MOU, it is a kind of memorandum of understanding. Okay, memorandum of understanding. So it's a kind of legal agreement between two different companies or two different parties. So this Arden people, they will hire TCS people in order to design, develop their application, because TCS is basically a software company. They'll design, develop, and test the application, right? So now let's say the agreement has been made, right? So now what happens? The people in TCS will work right from the scratch in order to develop this application, correct? They will work right from the scratch in order to develop the application. So there are different people in they are they, so in order to design, develop, and test the application, there has to be certain different departments in any company. Okay, if you consider any industry, we will have like BA team. Okay, we'll have a BA team. we'll have a dev team. So once you enter into the industry, so we'll have these things. Okay. The another is like QA team. Okay. So BA team means business analyst. So business analyst team. So dev team means the developers. Okay. QA team means quality assurance. Okay. Quality assurance. So basically QA team or test team both are same. Okay. QA team, we can call it as a QA team or test team. So in here, in certain companies like QATA teams were also called as like QATA. In some companies, they'll just call them as test team or QA team, or in some companies, we would be referred as a testers, we would be referred as a QATA. There's nothing but quality assurance and test automation. Okay, quality assurance and test automation. So now we understood that in order to design, develop, and test the application, we need three teams: BA team, dev team, QA team. So now, what are the roles and responsibilities of these individual teams, right? So what are the roles and responsibilities of these individual teams means, if you consider BAs, so their job is to understand the requirements from clients. Okay, understand the requirements from clients. So here, TCS is working for Arden, correct? TCS people, like TCS company, is working in order to design and develop the application for Arden. So Arden will be the client for TCS, right? Arden will be the client for TCS. So TCS works for Arden. Arden would be the client, right? So what happens means the BA teams, they will interact with the clients and they will understand the requirements. What exactly is mean by requirements? Means, okay, if you see here, if you see this particular thing, okay, in this page we have some mandatory fields. Why not here? Not all the fields are all the fields mandatory here, or only some fields are mandatory here? So here if you see contact number, it's a mandatory field. So how about preferred contact period? Is it a mandatory field?
No.
Do we have asterisk symbol? No, right? So it's not a mandatory field. And if you consider here additional comments, this one is also not a mandatory field. So who are going to decide this particular thing? Like what are the fields? So here, if you see this, one more thing, some fields are mandatory, some are not. And here, if you consider, this is a form. In this particular form, do we have a gender here? Do we have any field with gender? No, right? There is no field with gender. So who are going to decide this particular thing means, it again depends upon like BS. Okay, so they will interact with the clients and they will work on these kinds of things. Which one we have to make it mandatory, and what are the details we need to have on this particular page, like on this registration page, things like that. And apart from this one more thing is, if you see, this is the home page, right? So let me go back to the home page. So on home page, these are the menus like courses, study with us, way to study. These all are the menus, right? And we have two different buttons here, and we have an image. So if you click on an image, it will again take me to the same home page, right? So all these things like layouts, design, color codes, so these all will be decided by BAs. Okay, so they will collectively set up a calls with the clients and they will gather the requirements and understand the requirements, right? So now BAs will have the first team which comes into picture is the BA team. So they will gather all the requirements, they will have all the information like what exactly has should the site should contain. So these details the BA team will have. Okay, now next what the BAs will do means, so come back, like let's let's move to developers. Okay, so developers will gather the requirements from the clients. Sorry, developers will gather the requirements from BAs. Okay, so they will gather the requirements from BAs and they will develop the code accordingly. Okay, they will write the code. They will write the code, right? So they will gather the requirements. So they will understand what exactly the BAs are telling them. What are the icons? What is the layout? What is the UI? And how the things should be connected. So these details devs will gather from BAs and they will develop the code accordingly, right? So once the development is done, what happens once the development is done? QS will come into picture, right? QS will come into picture. So now here we have two things here. Like in some companies, they'll call us as a QA team, some test team, QATA, like quality assurance and test automation. So why there is some and separation here? What did you understand with this quality assurance and test automation? Any guesses or any input here? Why do we need to have two teams in the same like test team?
So maybe one is for functional testing
And
of
Yep, that's right.
manual
So
and automation
is for
performance.
integration or automating.
right, right. So our QA team is basically it's a combination of like manual testers. Okay, so manual testers or functional testers both are same, but I will tell you there is one slight difference. I will tell you. Okay, that means here I'm not differentiating them because they will not work on any kind of coding part. Okay, so they will not work on any kind of coding part. Second, apart from manual or the functional testers, there will be like automation people, like automation testers, and also there are like performance testers. Okay, performance testers. So these are the three different types of testers available in the QA team, QATA team. So that's why in some companies they will call us as a test team, QA team, QATA team, like that. Okay, whatever they refer, that means they are referring the test team, whether it could be manual or automation or performance or functional, whatever. Okay, so now this is the background. Like in order to develop certain application, BS will come into picture first. They will gather the requirements from the clients, and then developers, they'll gather the requirements, and then they'll start working on developing the code. Like they will design, they will prepare the design documents, develop the code. Like they have certain uh, design docs, so they will have certain their day-to-day activities. Okay, so when it comes to QS, so what they need to do from their end is this application before it comes to live, there would be different environments. Like for example, if you consider ardent.test sit.ac.uk, let's consider that is one environment. It's a QA environment. SIT is nothing but system integration testing. Okay, the code will not get directly deployed over here. So before that, it would be like in certain environments. Okay, so in that particular environments, the testers will go ahead and test the application. That means whatever the flow we have seen so far, okay, like clicking on find a course. And if you see here, they will basically, the main goal of a tester is to identify the bugs in the application. Okay, so here, so the main job of a tester is like, I'm considering, like I'm highlighting the manual tester here. So here, what is happening means whenever we are trying to So here we are entering like business and management courses. Okay. The moment I entered business and ampersand symbol, so it is giving me some auto suggestions. Okay. Based on the like keyword we enter, it is giving me some suggestions. So I'm just trying to click on this business and management courses. The moment I click on that, okay, it is showing me all the courses related to the business and management courses, which is fine. But there could be chances that some users might enter like this, right? They might enter business ampersand. Instead of clicking over here, they might also click on this search icon, right? So here, if you see, the moment I click on the search icon, in the background, we don't know what is happening, but ampersand symbol is converting to ampersand symbol, AMP, and semicolon. That's how we got like showing 0 results for business and management like that, right? So it is showing us like 0 results for business and ampersand within the courses. So this is a kind of bug or uh, like error in the application. So these kind of things manual tester will focus on. Okay, manual tester or any kind of tester, whether it could be manual or functional or the automation people, they will, the main job of them is to test the application. Okay, test the application, test the application in order to make it an error-free application. Okay, error-free application. That means when the application moves to production, in production there should not be any errors. That is the main agenda or main goal of a QA/TA team. Okay, so in order to identify the bugs, there are different things. Okay, one is manual testing. Manual testing means I think which we discussed, they will not use any tools. They will directly interact with UI. They will click on those buttons and they will do every activity, like they will fill in all the details. And if you see, we have seen that form, right? In that form we have the mandatory fields as well. We have some mandatory fields. So what they will do when they are testing, so they will sometimes they will skip those mandatory fields and they will try to so let me show you. They'll skip those mandatory fields and try to click on, let me show you, let me go to that particular page. Okay, so here let's say I'm giving my last name. Okay, last name, place of interest, location of interest, so my like dummy mobile number, so test comments. So I'm checking these two checkboxes. So here wantedly, whenever a manual tester is testing the application, they will test in this way. So they will want, so this is a mandatory field. Without entering mandatory field, will this particular form get submitted, guys? Will it get
No,
submitted?
no, it
No,
will
right?
throw an
So that, right. So that is what, so we'll expect without entering a mandatory field, by entering a mandatory field as blank, when we click on call me button, we are expecting that the form should not be submitted. Okay, here the moment I click on call me, it is highlighting in red, which indicates that we need to fill the mandatory field, right? In some cases, the developers might miss this particular thing, but even if we enter the mandatory field as blank and try to click on call me button, sometimes the form will still get submitted, which is not right. So then also it is a bug or defect in the application. So we'll report it to the developer, right? We'll report it to the developer. So developer will look into that, right? Developer will look into that and he will, so he will do the necessary changes in the code and he will again dump back the code to our environment, which is arden.ac.sit.uk or arden.ac.test.uk. So in our environment, again, we'll perform the same thing and we'll check whether the defect is fixed or not. Okay. So that is the bottom line. So now, as I told you, like I will tell you the difference between manual testers and functional testers. So both the common thing like the general similarity between these two is they will not use any of the automation tool. Okay, they will not use any of the automation tool in order to test the application. But the only difference is, so if you consider this site is a generic web application. It's a general web application. It is not developed on any of the Oracle or SAP or Salesforce application platform. Okay, so if certain tester is working on testing the application, which is a general web application, then they would be referred to as a manual testers. Okay, the people who are working on testing the Oracle, okay, Oracle or Salesforce, okay, Oracle or Salesforce or um, SAP, okay, SAP platforms, etc. SAP platforms. So these people, so since Oracle, Salesforce, SAP are some functional, like functional enterprise systems, okay, they are some functional ERP systems. So the people who are working on this, they would be referred to as a functional tester. So I will show you the difference. So this one is a general, right? You already aware. I will show you one difference. This one, if you consider here, this is also a web-based application. This is the URL. Okay, URL. I'm logging into this particular site with the username and password. If you see here, it's a Oracle JD Edwards application. Okay, here also in this application also we would be performing certain activities. Okay, like we will create some orders, we'll create some POs. That's a different story. We doesn't have to bother about that. Okay, if someone is testing this application like manually without using any code, but they are still called as a like non-automation testers, but they are referred to as a functional testers because this requires some functional knowledge. Okay, the people who are working on testing Oracle, Salesforce, SAP platforms, they require some functional knowledge. But for manual testers, they will still require some functional knowledge, but it is not a standard. Okay, in Oracle or different platforms, if you want to create any order, it will have certain navigations. Okay, but here the navigations, everything is customized when it comes to manual, right? So the only difference you need to understand is if the people are working in certain platforms, they are without any code, they are referred to as a function testers. The people are working on these kind of like generic web applications, they are referred to as a manual testers. Okay, so now automation testers means the people who are working on testing the application by using some automation tools. So there are different tools in the market like QTP, okay, QTP, Selenium, nowadays Tosca. Okay, so these things. So if you consider QTP, like it's an old tool, okay, it's an old tool, and it is not being used much in nowadays. Okay, so Selenium, you might have heard about Selenium a lot. So this is one of the best automation tool which involves some coding part, and it's an open source tool. Okay, open source in the sense we can download. Open source is nothing but a free tool. That means we can download it directly from the web without any cost, right? Without any cost. But the only important thing about Selenium, so Selenium is used to automate any kind of applications. We can automate this Oracle application, web application using Selenium, and also we can automate this generic uh, application using Selenium as well. So any kind of web-based application we can automate using Selenium. But Selenium, being an automation tool, being an open source tool, it definitely requires one of the programming languages. Okay, definitely requires one of the programming languages in order to automate, because it always goes in parallel. The coding of Selenium always goes in parallel with any of the programming language. It would be, that programming language might be Java or Python or C Sharp. Okay, it will go with any of the programming language. So the best in the industry, or most of the clients, or most of the companies, or most of the people who are working on Selenium, you can also check with that, with the people like in your friends or your family or your neighbors. You can check with the people who are working with Selenium. So check with them, like Selenium, with which language you are using Selenium. So as per my knowledge, like most of the people, or most of the clients, or most of the organizations will prefer Selenium along with Java. Okay, Selenium along with Java only. So the prerequisite, in order to learn Selenium, the prerequisite is we need to learn like any of the programming language. So here, as part of our sessions, we would be learning Java as a programming language. So if you learn Java, then Python or C Sharp, so I would say all the languages will be used for the same purpose case. But the only difference is the syntax. Okay. Whatever we can do with Java, we can do the same thing with Python and C Sharp as well. But the only difference is the syntax. If you know Java, and if you like, for example, I'm saying, if you learn Selenium with Java, like most of like 70 to 75% of the clients will use Selenium along with Java only. But let's say if a certain client, if you went into any industry, okay, if you got a project change, in a new project they are using Selenium with Python, then it's not a big deal for you to learn Python, because you will already have a Selenium stuff in place. Hardly it will take like 20 days of time or 25 days of time in order to learn Python. If because you already have like Java exposure, like you know how programming language works, then it is not a big deal. Okay, but here, as part of our like course, we would be learning Selenium along with Java. Okay, first we will learn Java, and then we'll go with the Selenium, because language is a must, it's a prerequisite. Okay, so this is about like Selenium background. So moving on to Tosca, so it's a licensed tool. Okay, it's a licensed tool.
One
And
question.
yes,
Hi,
please.
Sonakshi here. One question here. Um, in this course, for like how many, like how we are splitting our course as a structure, like for how long
Yeah,
we are going to run the Java classes, and then for how long the Selenium one?
yes. So I'm coming to that point. Like I thought of getting to that point after discussing about Tosca, but yes, if you since you have raised it, okay. So Java. So the entire our course duration is like 45 plus days, guys. Okay, 45 plus days. So in here we would be like, I would say like 20 to 25 days of Java, and the rest is for Selenium. Like again, 20 to 25 days, like that. Okay. So Java, I would say like we would be learning Java for 22. So 22, it will take like 23 or plus 2 days. Okay. So if you consider Selenium, it will take around again 20 to 25 days, like that.
Okay. Another question, but maybe I can raise that question when you will be, ready for question, like at the end of the session, just not to interrupt.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. So yeah. So we were talking about like Tosca. It's a licensed tool. The moment I say licensed tool, the people like the clients who are using Tosca is also used for automating web applications. Okay. So it will also do the same purpose, whatever the Selenium is doing. But the only difference is it's a licensed tool. Okay. Licensed tool, and it's a scriptless tool. Script is nothing but a code. So it doesn't require any of the programming language knowledge for Tosca, and it's a licensed tool. Licensed tool means Tosca is developed by like a Tricentis team. Okay, so Tricentis is one of the like organization who has developed the Tosca, right? So since Tricentis has developed Tosca, the people, like if you consider if TCS is using Tosca in order to automate certain web application, so the TCS people, in order to get a license, in order to like uh, in order to use Tosca, they need to get the license. For that, they need to pay some amount of money to Tricentis team. Okay, so since Tosca is also still there in the market, but since it's a licensed tool, nowadays it is trending. It is being trend. But it still has some challenges. But I don't want to like degrade the other tools. Since you have opted for testing team, so as a test team, I just want to give some glance or background on what are the tools that are available for for the automation purpose. Okay, so licensed tool means right. For 10 people, we need to pay, like we need to charge. So the people who are using Tosca, they need to charge. So some clients, since it is a licensed tool, they will not go for Tosca. They will go for Selenium. Okay, so that is with respect to Tosca part. Now, so these are the tools that are available for automation people. And when it comes to performance tester, so automation testers, sorry, before we move on with performance testers, what exactly the automation people will do is whatever the flow we have seen, right, so far, whatever the flow we have seen so far. So for that, in order to do that manually, we need to manually open the browser, launch the URL, click on find a button, find a course button, manually enter business and management. All these things we are doing it manually. Right from clicking on a button to URL launching, everything we are doing it manually. But using automation, every step, each and every step we'll do through the coding. Okay, we'll do through Selenium. So if you write a script,
Hi,
if you
Akhil.
trigger,
Sorry to
yes,
interrupt you. Actually, I have one question actually here. So,
yes,
could you please tell me that is this course like enough, like to attend any interviews? Like, if we are ready to attend any interview for the position of automation testing, or do we need
mhm.
to learn other things apart from this course?
Sorry, I didn't get your question exactly. Can you please repeat?
Okay, sure, sure.
So you are just
So,
trying to understand what are the things you get after the end of this
yeah, my
course?
question is about like, is this course is enough to attend like to face any interviews for the position of automation test engineers, or do we need to
Yes.
learn any means more things like apart from this course, do we need to learn other things as well? So could you please elaborate this one?
Yeah. So in order to like by the end of the course, one thing is um, you will learn like Java. It's a language, and Selenium is an automation tool. Okay, Selenium is an automation tool. So the major thing, if you attend any of the like interviews, any of the interviews based on automation, let's say the interviewer asks you like 15 questions, 15 or 20 questions. So I would say they will ask you questions 60% based on Java and 40% based on Selenium. Okay, so by the end of the course, you will have the knowledge on Java and you will have the knowledge on Selenium. You can directly attend to the interviews for an automation position with this knowledge. And apart from this one, so let me elaborate here. You will learn the framework as well. If you see here, Selenium is just not about like discussing about the topics. Okay, so once you enter into the industry, so we need to like automate based on a framework. We need to learn certain frameworks. Okay, so we would be learning framework as well. So with this particular framework knowledge, right? So since we would be discussing about Selenium for like 20 or 22 days, definitely you will get some exposure on from basic to like mid level. Okay, basic to like more than a mid level, and I will show you automating the real time application, which this particular application only I will show you, and that too I will show you within the framework. So you can directly give the interviews till the mid-level expert as well.
Oh,
So apart
okay,
from
sure.
this
So
one,
mid-level means, could you please elaborate what's the meaning of mid-level?
so mid-level in the sense like you so by the end of this course you can attend the interview. You can attend for an interview who is looking for like 4 years to till like 4 or 5 years of experience. Minimum four, like maximum four, not the minimum, like maximum four.
Okay. Maximum 4 years of experience we can apply after attending this
Yes,
course.
yes,
Okay,
yes.
okay, sure.
Yeah. So that is what you are trying to understand. Mm.
Okay, sure. Thank you.
Any questions from anyone? Like before we move on, like we move on to the topic.
So everything do we learn like on a live application? Or,
Yes, yes.
okay.
So when you are learning Java, so I think I am not sure how many of you have gone through this like course topics. Okay. So one more thing I just want to highlight here is those whoever just know the words like Java and Selenium, that's it. They don't know anything about Java except they just know the word Java, that's it. Okay. So right from the people who doesn't even know single line of coding also, I will teach right from the scratch. Okay. So if you consider these topics, so Java is basically if we split Java, it would be two types, guys. Okay. One is the core Java and the other is like an advanced Java. So for our automation people or for the testing, automation like advanced Java is not at all required, not at all recommended because we would not be using any of the code related to or any of the concept related to advanced Java. So here we would be focused more on the core Java only. Okay. So core Java, if you see here, we would be right from history, features, and how do we set up variables, data types. So these things like conditional control statement. So all these things here, these are basically OOPS concepts. You might have heard about like OOPS concepts. So we would be dealing with all of these topics and then we'll move on with Selenium. Okay. So in Selenium, I would say we will for the first like 10 days we would be discussing about the basics of Selenium. The basics in the sense, right? Like configuration part, installation part, and we will automate couple of flows. And I will tell you like whatever the real-time challenges we get and how we need to handle it. And also the important thing about the Selenium is framework. Okay, so whatever the framework we are using for our client, okay, I have my own like framework. So I will teach you that framework as well. So once you finish with this one, right, so you can directly in interview they will focus more on like a framework, like how they might ask you a question like how your framework is designed, or could you please explain me about your framework kind of thing. So framework is like a backbone for Selenium, so we can discuss framework as well. That's a key point here when it comes to Selenium. So once the course is done, you can directly go ahead. You can directly dump the framework. I will provide you the framework as well. I will give you the code as well. You can directly download it from my repository, and you can start working on developing the automating the applications. And when it comes to Java also, I will teach um, each and every program in live. Okay, so if you see here, this is for one of the like previous batches. If you consider SRC, just for Java, we have seen these many programs. Okay? These many programs. So everything will be live. And there you can see one more package also, like Selenium. This is still ongoing. Okay. So like this has started very recently. So like this, I have created new package and I will keep on creating the .java files and I will keep on adding the things here. And apart from this one, these two things, after we learn Java and basics of Selenium, if you see here, this is a framework. Okay, this is a complete framework package. So I will show you, I will make you understand about this framework as well, and I will teach you about each and every file in here. You doesn't have to bother about that framework part. So from
Yeah,
tomorrow,
because yeah,
yeah,
sorry to interrupt, Akhil. So because of
yeah,
this, you see, now I understand. Because most of the people, what they teach is, so they make us learn, so basic Java. So in Java, see, even we learned in college is different, and what we implement is different, right? So that's why I
right.
asked that question, because now you showed that we are going to do everything on an application level. So yeah,
Yes,
that's what.
you are already like working professional, like.
No, actually, I'm a database developer, so I work on database. But when I want to move into testing side, so so
Mm.
that's why I mean because I have seen so
Because
many institutes when I attended so many demos, they
um,
showed us that it is completely different way. So because even I
no,
learned Java in my initial stages in a college level, we learn Java, right? So that is completely
right.
different when we implement it. Yeah,
No,
syntax is
like
same, maybe
I
syntax is same, but the implementation part comes different, right? So that's what I want
different.
to know.
Yes.
Yeah.
So here it is not about just learning like Java, and it's not about just learning Selenium, but like how we implement in a real time, how we
Yes.
generate the report,
Yes.
how we read the test data, and how we where we place the test data. So all these kind of things, like basically framework is kind of ready-made architecture. Okay, so it is
Yes. Yes.
architecture which is already designed and defined in place. So all we have to do is understand the framework and automate the things accordingly. So it's not just about like learning the language and a tool and just finish it off, but you will you would be trained on um, the framework part as well, like basically the implementation or the application of language to the our real-time coding or real-time automation.
Okay. So also you are going to teach us on GitHub also. I mean, like a GitHub repository, GitHub
So
thing.
GitHub repository, like I will teach on the commands. Yes,
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
like the commands. Yeah. So any more questions from anyone? Yeah. So we are left with like
Hi, Akhil.
performance.
Hi, Akhil. One small question.
Yes.
So, there is another testing tool, automation testing tool called NeoLoader. Okay,
Yeah. Right.
you are aware of it. So this Java, until core Java we are learning, right? Will it be
Yeah.
useful for that application also? That testing tool also?
Yes, I believe, but I would like to give some little background on that neoload. So in order to speak about
Okay.
that neoload, we need to understand what exactly performance testing
Mm,
means. Okay. So I will tell
okay.
you
Okay.
what exactly is mean by performance testing means. Okay. So it will
Okay.
basically the testers who are working in performance team, they will work on load or stress testing of the application. Okay. Load or stress
Okay.
testing. So what this exactly means is if you consider any college site, okay, for example, if you consider JNTU site,
Mm,
right? So on a normal days, this JNTU site works properly, but during some result time, if you see during a results time, the number of people who are accessing the URL will be in huge, right? Right?
yes.
The number of people in order to check the results, they will keep on hitting the URL. So that sometimes we'll understand that okay, the server might be down or the response time of the application will be little low, right? It happens with
Yes.
like manavadi.com or like local when we are trying to access this one
Okay.
in order to check our SSC results, right? Or else
Yeah.
if you consider during some big billion days or any offer time our Amazon or Flipkart site also the response time will be very slow, right? that is because
Yes.
that is because number of people accessing the application For example, I'm saying in the normal days, let's say hundreds of people are using, but in those times, in the, I will call it as a peak times, it would be like
Mhm.
huge in thousands or sometimes even it will reach to lakhs as well, right? If you consider Flipkart, it has like plenty of customers all over India, right? So the number of people accessing it would be like huge. So what happens on that particular site? So let's say here, consider this one only. Okay. Now
Oh,
the number of people accessing this application will be very less. Okay. So that's the reason the home page has got loaded in a fraction of milliseconds. And also the moment we click on find a course, it will immediately within a fraction of milliseconds it is going to the next page. But what happens during the peak times is when we click on this particular thing, it will keep on buffering and the response time is very less. That is because of the load on the application has got increased. So performance testers will focus on testing the load of the application. Okay. So for that,
oh,
they will be using certain tools called neoload, LoadRunner, like neoload, LoadRunner, and Jmeter,
mhm.
Jmeter. So this is also one of the tool. And if I miss anything, yes, Jmeter, neoload, LoadRunner. So these are the tools they would be using. Okay. So these are, I will say, these are not the automation tools. These are the performance tools. Okay. These are the
Okay,
tools which are used by performance engineers. But what I heard is because I have some friends from performance testing. So in order to use Neoload or Runner, definitely they need to have some background of any of the programming knowledge. Definitely, again, as I heard, they would be using Java only a lot.
okay.
Okay, this part you can also confirm from your like friends or any of your
Anyway,
acquaintance, right?
got it, got it.
So
I got the
so
answer.
Qt,
Mhm.
yes. So Qtp, Selenium, Tosca are the automation tools. Neoload, LoadRunner, JMeter, these are the performance tools.
Okay,
Okay. So as
okay,
part of this
got it.
program, we are only concentrating on we'll learn with each and every
Sel-
program. Yes, program and Selenium. Selenium
oh,
also along with program, including the framework. So our course is for like around 45 days.
okay.
Any more questions from anyone?
Yeah, Akhil, there is one more question. Actually, after this demo session, when will be the main classes will start after in like enrolling?
Right.
So
For
I want.
enrolling, so yes. So if you are okay with the demo, right? So I will give
Yeah.
like contact to Kumar sir. So you can directly touch base with him for the registrations or for the enrollments. I will
Okay.
Kumar sir number here. Okay.
Sure.
So 01.
So it is scheduled already, like the classes, or it will be decided later as per
It would be
the
decided.
enrollment.
It would be decided after the enrollment, but I believe it will not take much time. Okay. It will not take much time
Okay.
for the
And the
enrollments.
timing would be the
So
same, like 10 to 11 IST, right?
yes, timing would be the same,
Okay.
10 to 11 IST.
Okay. Okay. Sure. Thank you.
Yeah. So for registrations or for enrollments, you can touch base with Kumar sir and you can check with him. And so that is the thing. You can, this is his number. You can directly touch base with him. So yeah. What else? Like,
What is
what else do you need?
what is the difference between the web application and that Salesforce you shown some example, right? In other
Right, right.
window. May I know the
So
difference?
yes.
I mean, both are
So
applications.
yeah, both are the applications, but I will tell you.
Both launches in browser only.
Yes, bro, both launches in browser. So if you see here, this is an Arden site. This we are, okay, let me copy this URL. Okay. Let me copy this URL. Let me place it here. So this is being launched in the browser. And if I go back to this particular thing, okay, so this is our just a Chrome browser. This is our Chrome browser. I'm just pasting the URL here, and it is directly taking me to this particular screen. And just um, like how we will be navigating to each and every screens. But here, if you see, the UI will be little different. The reason is I need to tell, in order to answer this, I need to tell some background about the tools that developers would be using. Okay. So far we have discussed about the tools that testers, like these people, like our testing team are using. Okay. So you might have heard, when it comes to developer, you might have heard that front-end developer. Okay. Front-end developer and middleware developer. And you might have heard about full stack developer, right? Full stack developer and mean stack developer. Nowadays, this is also trending. Mean stack developer. Okay. Mean stack developer. Okay. So that means front-end developers are the people who are working on the UI part. So if you see how the UI looks, right, this is because of the front-end developers. So the tools that front-end developers would be using are HTML, CSS, okay, JavaScript. We doesn't have to learn all of this, but as a tester, we would be engaging or we would be connecting with developers on a daily basis once we enter into any project. Okay, so for that we need to have like minimum knowledge on, is he a front-end developer or a full stack developer or a mean stack developer, or what are the roles and responsibilities of that person. Then only we can go to the correct person and get our doubts cleared. Okay, right? If certain thing is not working, then we need to reach out to developers only, right? Because they work on the code. So if we go to the wrong person, then they might see us like, okay, this person doesn't even know to whom go and check, right? So for that is the reason we need to have this knowledge, at least not on the knowledge on the tools, but at least whoever is working on which technology, at least we need to have a minimum idea. So here the front-end developer will work on these kind of technologies. If you consider middleware, you can consider like MuleSoft developers. Okay, there is a tool called MuleSoft. It's a middleware tool. The people who are working as a middleware developer, they might work on like MuleSoft technology. Those are called MuleSoft developers
I
as well.
mean, what they
So
will
full
do,
stack means, sorry.
MuleSoft people, what they will do. I mean, front end means UI,
Front-end means
middleware.
UI. So MuleSoft means, so some applications will be connected to the another applications. Like for example, okay, there might be two different applications. If you see here, this is one URL. Okay, if you consider another URL, that would be a different URL. So for example, if you want to create an order, so first we you need to have a customer. Okay, or else let's say how I can explain you is, right.
Like endpoint.
So yeah, those are endpoints only. MuleSoft work on like endpoint spaces, but I will tell you, in some cases, two different systems will be connected. Let's consider site A, okay, site one. So this particular site one, it is only in order to place an order, okay, like search for a product, add it to the basket, and make the payment, okay, make the payment, and that's it. Like as a customer, we are logging into that particular thing and we have ordered. So as a reference, we'll get one order number, correct? So
Yeah,
next we'll have one more site. Okay. If you search with that order in that particular site, we'll get that order, right? That means both systems are integrated. Okay. So how this particular order, so why they need to maintain site 2 is, in site 2, they will do like pick, pack and shipping. That means, okay, an order is generated. So now once the order is generated, once the payment is done, what is the next step from the vendor side or from the warehouse side? What they need to do? They need
like
to
tracking ID, like
send the, yeah, they need to pick, pack and ship, right? Ship it to the customer address.
uh,
So they will, the warehouse team will receive this order number. They will log into their site with the order number. So if they search with that order number, they will get the detail like customer name, customer address, what are the products he has ordered, like that. So here two different systems are connected towards each other. That is, the middleware would be the MuleSoft. Okay,
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
that's a kind of endpoints only, as you said. So full stack is a kind of front end plus back end. Okay. After middleware, we have back end developers. Okay. Back end people means, so you are like here if you see, you are searching for some business and management. Okay, business and management. Here some things are auto populated, and if you click on this one, we are getting these things. And also if you click on once you enter all the details on a form, and if you click on submit, it is going to like server, right? So those details will go and like drop to the warehouse like database, right? So whatever the things
Yes.
you are entering into the on the UI, and the moment you click on submit form, those details will reach to the database. So it's a kind of like a backend, right? So these connectivity, the backend developer will take care. Okay. So for this, there are many technologies. You can consider like a Spring Boot. They will use Java as well, Java, Spring Boot, and there are Groovy, Groovy, and Ruby on Rails. So there are many technologies these days. Okay. So those, that is all about like front end, middleware, back end. So full stack means nowadays full stack developers are having the higher demand because they know the technologies, both the technologies, like front end and back end technologies. Okay. So the single person, full stack developer means this single person will take care of UI part and the back end part. So those are called as a full stack developer. Simply, if he has a knowledge on these tools and these tools, he's called as a full stack developer. Okay. So when it comes to mean stack developer, mean, if you consider, M stands for MongoDB. Okay. MongoDB, E stands for Express.js, A stands for AngularJS, N stands for Node.js. Okay. So here, this part is nothing but one technology is UI, one technology is middleware, one technology is backend, one is database. I doesn't exactly know which one is front end, middleware, and backend. I believe Angular works as a front end, Node.js works as a middleware, Express works as a backend. I'm just guessing because I'm not that much technical into developer side, but I know that one technology works as for different purposes. Okay. So one is for front end, middleware, backend, MongoDB. That means if you learn all of these courses, you can develop the complete application like front end, middleware, UI, like front end, middleware, backend, and the database also. If you learn all these technologies, you can develop certain application without these technologies. So mean stack developer is also kind of a full stack, but especially why it got its name means for its technologies. These are the technologies that mean stack developer will have. Okay. Now coming back to the question asked by some person with respect to like Oracle, you might have seen like the people, or when you see the job site, you might have seen Salesforce developer or Oracle developer, Oracle developer, or the SAP developer. Did you saw it, guys? They might say that I'm a Salesforce developer, Oracle developer, SAP developer, right? So Teja, you asked this question, or
Me. I'm the one.
who's this? Sorry, who is this?
Yeah. Yeah. I asked.
Munesh. Okay. So Munesh, you might have seen like this is for everyone, not just for Munesh. So you might have seen the people who are working as Salesforce developer, Oracle, and SAP developer. So they would be using like in order to develop these things, right? In order to develop these in order to develop the application based on Oracle platforms, they will also use these technologies. Okay, they will also use this front end, back end, middleware technologies. But apart from that, they will have some certain like Oracle based tools in order to develop the Oracle application. Okay, so that means they will follow the rules and they will develop the code by following those rules. So basically, they will develop on the Oracle platforms and SAP platforms. So like that, it has got their name as like a Oracle developer, Salesforce developer, SAP developer, but they would be using these technologies only. And apart from that, I'm not 100% sure. They might be using some other core Oracle technologies also. So they will combine those and they will develop the application. So that is what I know with respect to this development part.
I mean, most of the people are using applications on web, right? Why these applications are required? Salesforce and Oracle. We'll
Yeah. So
browse everything on web, right? Why these applications are required? I mean, who are
so these
the users?
applications like these applications, say the Oracle, like these are already a renowned applications. So see here, what they will do here is, so if one customer, like the customers would be different, right? Clients would be different. Okay, so here they can order for sales. They can create any sales order. Okay, sales order in the sense like they can order any product. So the Oracle, the applications which are built on Oracle platforms, they would be customizing the application based on their customer. Okay, so first is for security purpose. Like Oracle platforms are, um, if you develop certain applications or Oracle platforms, you might not see uh, these things uh, like response time of the pages. Okay, so the applications which are built, basically I mean to say the applications which are built on the Oracle or these platforms are little fast speed, and they are robust in nature. They are secured as well. So that is the reason most of the people, like some enterprises are would be based on, they will contact with the Oracle and they will design their applications based on Oracle platform. So if you consider these Oracle people, they will have one standard format, okay, and they will customize the same standard platform for different types of customers. The moment I say different types of customer means they might get the retail customer, like online grocery store. If you consider one, there we got one startup, okay, we got one startup for online grocery store. If they come to us, if they come to us, they'll come to Oracle and they'll say that okay, we need like one app, or we need one retail application. So what the Oracle people will do is they will customize that application based on like their needs. Okay, so similarly this is something related to retail groceries store. Similarly, if you consider one of the, like if some Apollo pharmacy came into picture, consider a pharma site. Okay, if they come to, and they will also sell their products, right? So it's, this is also about the goods, that is also about the goods or products, but they'll customize as per their thing. Okay, as per their thing. So what I believe is the difference is, just like I said, these are little like robust in nature. These are little speed, and the platforms are standard for everyone, but they will customize a little bit based on uh, like their requirements. So that is the story. So any more questions from anyone?
No, that's it.
So,
Thank you, Akhil.
yeah,
It will be the perfect, like great session from you. Thank you.
yeah. Thanks, guys. Thanks everyone for joining the session. Have a good day. So, as I discussed, if any
Thank
involvement
you,
you
sir.
can contact me from our sir. Okay.
Akhil,
Thanks.
Akhil, one last, one moment, Akhil.
Yes, please. Yeah, please. Yeah.
Akhil, so the core Java will be useful for cracking interviews, right? It will be more like theoretical, right?
Not only like cracking interviews. So as I told you, like Selenium is also a code. Selenium always goes in
Hmm.
parallel with like Java. Selenium would be a
Okay,
mix of
okay,
Java. So when we are writing the
okay,
Selenium code, we'll make use of Java concepts as well. You
okay,
will
okay,
understand going forward. So it is also about the
okay,
programs. This is also about the programs. So it would be a mix.
okay. So even without any coding background, it is possible to learn Java and then continue with Selenium, right?
Sorry, without coding language,
Back,
it is okay
background
to continue. No, no, no.
uh, to
For
learn the
Selenium, it definitely require for Selenium, it definitely require a programming knowledge.
yeah,
So for that,
yeah. So
yeah,
uh, what I'm trying to say is, when we learn Java, whatever concepts we learn here, it is good enough to continue with Selenium, right?
right, correct. Yes, you're right.
Yes,
You're
with
right.
that, yeah, you answered the question. Thank you. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Thanks a lot.